Thanks, everybody. And now I believe we have a video to play.
So in 2011, when the city first started sponsoring the Ben Venture Conference, the award was $250,000. Last year, it was almost $4 million. So you can see what an economic driver and how many businesses are getting nurtured and really sprung forward through this incredible event that happens right here in our city. People always wonder what the city is doing to really push forward economic development in our city that's compatible with our culture and our focus on livability. And the Ben Venture Conference fits right into this. So how does the city support economic development in our city? We support investors and entrepreneurs and businesses in ways that are compatible with our community and our culture and the livability that we all come here to enjoy as citizens. So the conference has grown from just under 2 days to over 4 days, and it's still growing. This is now the largest angel conference west of the Mississippi. This is huge for the West Coast and absolutely for our community that it's happening right here in Bend, Oregon. As a leader in our community and as Mayor Pro Tem on the Bend City Council, I want to say how much I appreciate and value our relationship with EDCO. And most important today, I just want to thank every single company and their leaders who have the courage to put together a pitch, to come to the city of Bend, and I wish every single one of you really good luck, and I wish every single one of you could win because we really need you all on the West Coast and certainly in Bend, Oregon and Oregon. So thanks for coming, good luck, and I look forward to meeting you.
Okay, now on to what we've been waiting for, our first growth stage company to pitch this afternoon, Drone Complier, SaaS software providing regulatory and industry compliance management and data solutions for drones. So please welcome their CEO of Drone Complier, Rain Moshe, to the stage. If he is anywhere close by. Oh, there you are.
Good day, everybody. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Wayne Rochar, CEO and founder, together with Brian Whiteside, Danger Zone movie, former F-18 pilot. So, I'd like to explain a little bit of what we do. We are helping companies moving from a non-aviation space into an aviation space utilizing drones. So, many of you have heard of all the nice opportunities coming along, Amazon doing package deliveries, pizza deliveries through Domino's, all of that. All of that can happen only if people make sure that all the compliance regulations around that is taken care of. Some examples that I give over here is 2 years ago at the World Skiing Championships, a drone nearly hit a skier as it came down. In Australia, there was a marathon runner that completed the marathon and the drone fell out of the sky and she had to be taken away by ambulance. And what we try to help companies with is to understand there are rules and regulations. So you've got some manuals over there. You become part of the aviation space. There's safety things that you need to take care of, risk management, all of those activities, and to realize you are sharing the airspace with other real aircraft. A drone is an aircraft. A lot of people believe they can just go out, buy a drone, so that's the top line over there. Charge the battery, go and fly, take the video, and put it on YouTube or use it wherever they want to. The reality is, you have to treat it just like you will do any transport business. You have your operating procedures, checklists. You need to make sure that all the risk management is taken care of. Then you have to go and plan the missions. You have to make sure that once it's planned and you have all the rules and regulations, it actually goes out to the pilots and they do what needs to be done according to the rules and regulations. Once that's finished, how do they use all of those data that has been captured? How do you manage it? How do you analyze that? And that is what we are helping companies to do. We do that with our software solution. It's a software as a service model. It's called Drone Complier. We've been doing this for about 5 years now. And the software has two components. The one is the admin portal, where you will go and plan the missions. You will find out what is legal. Am I allowed to fly at certain areas? Do I need to get permission from the landowner, or do I need extra FAA approvals? All of that gets done before the mission. If we think of, a hurricane relief effort, if you then want your pilots to go out into the field, they need to get all that information, and all the activities they need to follow needs to be available for them, but there will not be any internet. Utilizing that, they can then synchronize all the data onto their mobile phone. It works offline, and they have all the data with them. When they get back into internet connection, they can then synchronize that back into the head office. As we help companies setting up their software and their programs, a lot of them then realize they need to retrain or upskill a lot of the people that are going to do the flying. We have trained more than 1,500 pilots in a 5-day course to do the drone flying as well as understanding the rules. And part of that whole process in setting up the software is helping companies to define their standard operating procedures. Just a quick one on what the market is like moving forward. So PwC, in July this year, they updated their forecast. It's a $150 billion market in about 2020. And we believe that 2 to 5% of that will be spent on the compliance side of it, around a $3 to $7.5 billion market. Looking at customer traction, so you'll notice that we have local as well as international. So I'll just go on the education side. Central Oregon Community College here in Bend, we do a lot of training for them, for their drone pilots, making sure that they are able to go and do commercial work once they're finished. Oregon State University has used our software for more than 2 years now. There are 60-odd pilots utilizing that for research and development and just standard flying. And Embry-Riddle University, which is a Harvard of aviation, they've selected us to be their compliance management solution for all their UAS, which is Unmanned Aerial System degree programs. Looking on the regulation side, we have governments. So in Australia, we've been selected as the official app in Australia. Anybody who wants to fly commercially needs to find out, utilizing our app, whether it's legal to fly there. We have the FAA's Assure program, which is a group of universities researching laws on behalf of the FAA, and they selected us as their software solution. And then SDAO is a Oregon Special Districts Association of Oregon. They insure entities like fire departments, water management, parks and recreation, and we're helping them to make sure that when they have insurance claims, it's all compliant with the rules and regulations. So our business model, how do we make money? It's all focused around the software as a service. It's a subscription model. We look at making everything, the training, the operations, consulting, all of that is built into the software, and it is then sold on as a monthly or an annual fee, adding on to the services. So some of our competitors, one of them that you may notice, Skyward at the bottom, it's a still Portland company, and they had an exit. They were bought by Verizon earlier this year. Moving forward, we have had a lot of traction with a lot of different entities. We are focusing on the enterprise level. So we are looking at leveraging all our government equivalents of the FAA worldwide. We are speaking to several countries right now where they are looking at engaging us to make sure that our solution is the official solution for people to know where they are legally allowed to fly. We have built all the procedures and activities that we need to support entities like the Special Districts Association of Oregon, and enabling the program where we can train the pilots, where we can help the company administrators, as well as managing all the fleets around that. And the universities, we have had a lot of information coming back from them as they do their R&D, which is helping us to further expand the way we reach out into the industries. We also have companies like General Electric, Shell, Exxon, where we actually do services, where we go and do oil well inspections, working out exactly how to automate the inspection services. There are roof inspection services for insurances, all of those activities that we're working with them out in the field and developing our procedures. With the money that we are looking to raise right now, we've had a lot of traction. We've bootstrapped this. Brian and I have only recently started taking money, and we are looking to develop further on our thought leadership. So we have an extensive and in-depth knowledge base, and we would love to share that more. We are focusing a lot on getting salespeople along, so we really need to develop a further sales team, and that's one of the bigger reasons why we are raising money right now, is to help us to go out into the market. We've got more than enough traction in the relevant industries, and we just want to move ahead with that. And then finally we have our management team. Just a quick one on that one. It's we have in depth. We've got Executive Chairman Bill Sandermeyer, who's part of formerly president of FLIR Systems. He's helping us out. We've got Brian Whiteside, myself, and a few other people as well. So that is it. Time for Q&A.
Great. Nice job. Thanks, Wayne. Wayne asked me to remind everybody that they're filming us with drones right now above. No, did anyone look? I don't think anyone looked. No one believed me. All right, let's move on to questions from our panel.
So you've achieved some nice revenue this year, last year. Can you give us a sense of the breakdown of that revenue from by customer? How much of that was Australia, and how much of that do you anticipate is actually will be recurring revenue?
So we have about 50-50 revenue between Australia and the US. Customer basis, we have clients from $75 a year for a one-man business up to several $100,000 a year for enterprise clients. So we have a space between that, and most of that is recurring revenue. Some of the training is single training opportunities, but we are engaging with a lot of enterprise clients that keep on sending new pilots that need to be trained into a new industry, because a lot of the people have never been part of the aviation industry. So there's a lot of upscaling and upskilling in the resource department.
It sounds like you have then a mix of what I call SaaS sales and services sales, right? So consulting sales, if you will, the training. What's your breakout on revenue there, and how do you see that developing over time?
So at the moment, we're about 12% on software services. And looking at 2019, we're looking at that being about 45%. The reason that we have the software and the training and the consulting is, as we developed the software and we wanted to sell it, everybody said, great, we would love to use this, but we don't have anybody who can use it. We don't have the business need for it. And they forced us into giving them training. So as we move through all these training programs and those people graduate, we get more users into the software system. So it's a paid program into, or lead management process at the end of the day.
With that, who ends up being the buyer inside of these organizations?
It's usually people like the risk managers, the risk controllers, heads of aviation departments. Those are the people who understand the need for this, the people who take care of insurance. But also you have, because it's such a new industry, there's a lot of people who become really excited about it and they drive it, and then they start selling it internally to the higher management to prove that they need to make sure they have all the rules and regulations taken care of. Example, in the last few weeks, we've had a Black Hawk collide with a drone in New York. In Canada last week, they had a commercial aircraft, as they were coming into land, collide with a drone. And as soon as those things come out, people realize, oh, we need to make sure that we are taking care of our risks. And that's when we kind of see spikes in the requests from our side.
Just as a follow-on to that, what's sort of the breakdown in terms of, okay, we're an organization who is already engaged in some sort of activities with drones versus we want to, but we don't know what we need to actually cover before?
I would say 3 years ago, it would be about 90% want to. In the last 6 months, it's about 60 to 70% of them are already doing drone operations. So the industry has matured to a level where the back-end support services is now becoming in demand, and that's exactly what we provide. And with that maturity, we now become more in demand as well.
So good news and bad news is you're either selling to or getting authorization from governments. They aren't known to move very quickly, and particularly the FAA and its cousins around the world has been known to see people die along painful death waiting for them to decide.
Yep.
How do you fight that? How do you deal with that?
So the way we look at that is, in Australia, you may have noticed I'm from Australia. In Australia, it's been legal to fly drones since 2003. In 2006, ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization based in Montreal, it's a United Nations department, they said they need to set up the rules and regulations for drones. They then went to Australia and asked them to provide the people to help them define those rules. So a lot of the rules you see in Australia, where we started developing this software, is now becoming international rules and regulations. So we actually built this on the requirements of the United Nations, because we know, just like any airline pilot that studies to fly a Delta aircraft into China, they can land in China based upon the ICAO rules that have been ratified. And the same is happening in the drone space. So we have actually built it from the top down, making sure that it is worldwide. We currently have clients in about 40 different countries.
Let's move to a few questions from the audience. Are there burning questions? Maybe while folks are thinking about it, I'd love to hear a little bit more about, you talked about your team, but why is it that your team is the exact right team to build your product in this market?
Well, I myself, I'm from a software development background. I've got more than 20 years. I have built another aviation software tool that is currently also being used by the United Nations World Food Program. Brian Whiteside is a former F-18 Navy pilot, and after his activities in the Navy, he became a drone operator and procedures developer for the Navy as well. And he developed the drone programs for the last 8 or 9 years. And we've been blessed through the two knowledge skill sets to be able to bring the business side as well as the technical side together.
That's great. Questions from the audience? Yeah, back there.
You quickly put up a slide about the competition, but can you talk about what your advantages are to the competitors, or maybe other ways for drone operators to learn about the regulations?
Yeah, so around competition, the way we were bootstrapping helped us to engage with pilots on the ground. And that forced us to get into a mindset of helping them with the training, and that gave us a lot of user and feedback and business feedback on what they need in the software. So we actually built it up, doing the training, the consulting, and the software. And through all of those processes, utilizing the ICAO rules and regulations, we have developed our solution to a much higher enterprise level where it enforces a lot of compliance regulations, but it's also extremely generic so that it is agnostic in hardware, government rules and regulations. So any day a rule and regulation can change anywhere in the world. The company can go and update that very quickly. A lot of the other companies have done a really good job in helping pilots do their job well. We are really focused on helping companies do their job well and making sure that they follow the insurance and rules and regulations. So we're looking at it from a C-level perspective and not just only from the person out in the field. Obviously, we do take care of them, but that is our main focus around competition.
All right, looks like we have time for one more question. There you go. I think we can get you a mic. Yeah, there.
Hi, Dave Young at Oregon Rain. Congrats on all your success. So, clear customer problem when the drone collides with a person or a plane, something terrible. But can you talk about the problems for your customers after that happens, and what are the benefits that they enjoy when they use your service and that problem is avoided?
So, I like that question. So if you think of somebody going out doing a mission in a certain city, and 2 years later, for some other reason, there's a lawsuit that comes in and says, you guys came along and you flew your drone and it crashed there, and they make something up. You actually have proof who flew it, when did they fly it, what was the hourly weather statistics at that specific time. You have the log files to prove exactly the flight path where they were flying. So if we were at a certain space and what they claim happened on the east, and we can prove that we were flying west, and we have all of that data, that is how you protect yourself. Also, if you have insurance claims, a lot of insurance companies require the data to be kept for 7 years. And then if there are lawsuits or anything like that, they need to see an audit trail that the data was never manipulated or anything like that. And this whole ecosystem brings all of that together.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Wayne, and
Thank
thank you for everyone for your questions. I think we've got one more video lined up right now.
I'm Julie Harrelson, Cascade Angels. Cascade Angels is a collaborative venture fund based in Oregon. We invest primarily in Oregon and Pacific Northwest-based companies. Cascade Angels was the first investment fund to support Ben Venture Conference, and part of the reason for that was that Cascade Angels emerged out of the Ben Venture Conference. There was a group of local leaders that said, hey, Ben Venture Conference is great. It's only 6 weeks long. We should do something year-round. We started Cascade Angels, and our first investment was in April of 2014. So how does Cascade Angels help entrepreneurs and the ecosystem? We've invested in 17 companies, nearly $3 million. Those companies are employing nearly 200 people and generating close to $20 million in annual revenue. Our goal is to generate a return for the investors and a return for the community in terms of jobs, economic diversity, and economic inclusion. And so as such, we're industry agnostic. We have investments in apparel companies, outdoor product companies, tech companies, biotech companies. Cascade Angels made its first investment in April of 2014. So we've really been a startup as well. We've grown the fund, we've built the platform. We're looking forward to scaling it in 2018 and expanding our efforts in Oregon and the Pacific Northwest. Congratulations to the BVC finalists. And to all those that applied. Oregon is a great place to do business, and Bend is a great place to work, invest, and play.
All right, our second growth stage company is Handful, a maker of lifestyle products for women that are flattering, versatile, and feel great no matter what life throws your way. Please join me in welcoming to the stage founder and CEO Jennifer Ferguson.
Why so serious? So raise your glass if you are wrong in all the right ways. All the underdogs. We will never be anything but loud and bitty, gritty, dirty little freaks. Won't you come on and raise your glass?
So if any of you have pink tickets for us, we are looking for them. I've been calling the radio station like a junior high student trying to get pink tickets because, you know, she's Rosie the Riveter, women in the workforce. And if you have a way to get her some of our activewear, even better. My name is Jennifer Ferguson. I'm the original founder and CEO of Handful, activewear that supports you to grab life by the handful. And growing up, my dad would say, "She's a handful," as he would be gently squeezing the back of my neck, encouraging me to be calm. So we say, you're active, you're versatile, you're one of a kind, you're a handful. And growing up being active, being frustrated at the lack of proper base layer and activewear for active women, I played soccer, basketball, volleyball, even flag football. And then I taught group exercise classes to women all over the country. And our base layers and our activewear were uncomfortable, unflattering. I went to my friend's track meet, and on her way up for high jump, she adjusted her strap, and I thought, oh, our product is not getting the job done. And so we need something that we can wear from workout to weekend and back and forth. So about a dozen years ago, after searching in vain, we launched the original Handful bra, designed to flatter, not flatten, that would carry you from weekend to workout, back and forth. And I've always said we, because it's always been a team. And 2 years ago, we all quit our jobs and went full time. Carrie, on the far left, we found out that the active bra is also an option for the 1 in 8 women still getting diagnosed with breast cancer. Of course, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. She was a late stage 3, now 11+ year survivor, and she wears 3 pads on both sides because she's double mastectomy, no reconstruction. And it's really a metaphor for all of us because she's measuring ½ an inch taller, having a product that she can get out and grab life to the handful, and also just being more productive and more confident. And then we've got Jody, our CFO, who brought Mandy the mannequin out, and she has a strong background with CPA and finance. She was at Intel over 15 years, really strong operations, so she's driving us forward. We've got Tina in the middle with our internal management, keeping the wheels on the bus, and of course, I'm out there with sales. So we've got the badass team with the badass products. We're committed that women can have it all. It can be functional, and it can be flattering, and it can be fashionable. We like a good F word. So we're committed that everything, clearly we're not the only ones. We're committed that everything be flattering, functional, fabulous feel, and full of fight. This is really the new uniform for the active woman. And it used to be if you were active you had to change. And now you're wearing it, dressed for success, hoping if I'm wearing it, my active will come out of the woodwork. Whether I'm my pitch coach, Pam, who's world-class pickleball player, or my pitch coach, Sue, and she's walking the dog and wearing it to work, it's active, we're active. She might be wearing that to a business meeting, she might be wearing it to the dance club, she might be wearing it paddleboarding or for a run. And functional, we have a hidden pocket so you can put your optional modesty padding. The women, we did a store check this week at several amazing stores in town, Next Door, Outside In, Foot Zone, and Athletic Princess. The buyers of the store say, once we experience this product, we get rid of all other bras. This is just what we wear from workout to weekend. And so not only Carrie putting up her 3 pads, but you can put the pads in, take them out, maybe on a Friday night, wear a couple sets. And you can also stash your essentials, lip gloss, key, credit card. It's like another set of hands, which us women appreciate. And see, women, I know the women are laughing because we get it. Fabulous feel. Of course, it feels fabric. We'll let you sample some products, and we got a good code for you guys at the end. And full of fight. Statistically, millennials will not even buy from a company that does not give back. So for any woman that has lost a breast to cancer, we will give free pads for life. So pretty much every bra that's purchased, a free set of pads goes to our survivors. Who's our customer? She's not a number, she's not an age, she's not a weight, she's not a height, she's active. And with some more statistical analysis, she likes to travel, she likes good food, and she's fairly tech savvy. So we find her mobile, and we've got a disruptive marketing campaign, of course, with our badassadors, telling their badass friends about the badass products. And so it's a really awesome affiliate marketing where they get a rev share, really getting the word out about the brand and the product globally. Customers were asking for more. A customer doesn't want to pay $50 for something they only wear for 1 hour. So she said, we love this brand. We wish there was more options besides just the bra. So just this year, we launched activewear. And our retailers that have been carrying the bras solo, that brought our full line of activewear, their sales are up 132%. So we're really encouraging and incentivizing our retailers to do pre-sale with our full line. How are we a strategic player in this ginormous market? $83 billion. Athleisure is actually a word in the dictionary now. And we're by women for women. We're in a tier 1 manufacturer in Cambodia. The CEO is a woman. Her VP is a woman. And they really believe in us. They're very selective with who they work with, pun intended. They only work with a handful of customers, like the Lulus and the Nikes. And so we have the same beautiful butter product and really fabulous. But our difference in the market is Nike is predominantly only caring about the big dogs and online. So there's this massive breeding ground for these 20,000 plus retailers around the country that support the activewear market. Lulu is predominantly brick and mortar, which we're not. And a couple other examples in that market. Moving Comfort was a top sports bra. You can't even find that name anymore. They've been sucked into Brooks. So typically the female Moving Comfort rep, they all got laid off, and now it's the Brook, typically male tech shoe rep, that's repping the activewear line for women. So we have retailers coming to our booth all over the country saying, we want the female presence of the strong brand in our store. And the final example on that is Lucy, activewear, got sucked into North Face. So there's all these rounders sitting empty at retailers around the country. Our rep was in North Carolina calling on Omega Sports and said, I want that outfit on our rounder. So major opportunity with the competitors' breeding market for us right now. Preferred brand, how are we a preferred brand with all the noise? An example, Christine Mosier, she's the head buyer of Core Power Yoga, 150 yoga facilities around the country, active women going in, also strong retailer, and they only also work with a handful of brands, Lulu being one of them. When Shape magazine asked Christine what her favorite brand and product was, she said Handful. So it really is standing out in the market. And the final piece, supporting breast cancer survivors. Unfortunately, that's about 250,000 women a year, over half of our team. So that's over a 10 million market just in that category. So major opportunity for Handful. Our current mix is 40% direct to consumer, 60 wholesale. Last year, Q4, we got our first bit of investment, and we put it all back into marketing, sales, and our pipeline. So really put the focus on me to be able to get out and work with our retailers and our reps and also trade shows. So from last year to this year, wholesale is up over 80%. We also launched a new website. That has us on Shopify having really strong analytics. And so we're able to talk now directly to our customer. We know who she is. No bra is supposed to see a birthday. So now we're able to, every year, say, hey, Jody, it's been a year. It's time for you to replace your bras. Here's the new seasonal prints and colors. We're also true to shirt size. So it's really easy to buy for yourself and also for friends and family as a strong empowerment gift. So that 33% is going to continue to raise as we're stronger with our connection to our customer. A couple years ago, we were in about 150 retail stores. We got our start with running, and now we've launched into the Bar 3s, the Core Power Yogas, Fleet Feet. Caesars is even carrying us as a travel option because this is the new active uniform. And so we've doubled. We're over 300 stores now, looking to double each year. So we kind of rinse and repeat. The Fleet Feet's now going into Jackrabbit, the Bar 3 going into Pure Bar. Massive opportunity and additional pipeline has our sales growing. Last year, we were over 500,000. This year, or about 600,000. This year, we're scheduled to hit our target of 1 million plus. And this is actually a conservative number to be doubling each year with the increased pipeline as well as the increased doors we're in and our online presence. Portland, Oregon for activewear is like the Silicon Valley for the tech space. It really has the world-class talent at our fingertips, so we get to be supported by the most amazing team of intelligence as well as our time, and they're also supporting us financially and looking to contribute to us additionally with this next round. So we encourage you all to grab life by the handful. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Is anyone wearing a Handful bra or maybe knows someone that is wearing a Handful bra right now at this moment? All right, I see a couple. And I think an opportunity for a lot of new customers in here today. Questions?
Yeah, I want to jump right in. So in your projections to you doubling, what would it take for you to more than double? Like what are the gating factors towards more exponential growth?
Well, $1 million question, a big piece for us is marketing opportunity. And so as we're coming into this opportunity, we've got some, of course, in the backyard of the world-class talent, have some marketing opportunities. And we've been asked by many world leaders in the marketing world, do you have enough product to produce to the demand that we're going to create? So really having, and we do have the product in place. So really that increased demand could double, triple, quadruple, absolutely. So these were conservative numbers.
So I can hardly turn on satellite radio without hearing an ad for Third Love. And I recognize their branding is not exactly the same as yours, but they're spending money like you cannot believe. So how do you fight that?
Very good question about the spending money that you can't believe. I could go through a lot of examples where people send me notes like, oh boy, this person in the top bra and this many hundreds of thousands followers and this and that. And we have had reps that have represented those brands and they don't stand up to what they say. So deep pockets can get some awareness, but we really do back it up. And so to have those extra pennies to get our awareness out there is really what we believe is a sweet spot, and being able to back up and get all that we are up to out to the appropriate people.
Hi, well, I now realize I have several garments that need to be retired that are long past their one-year anniversary.
Thank you,
Thank
Edie.
you. But I'm particularly interested in your demographic sort of targeting. While all women like comfort and the whole world is moving to more active and formal wear, It just, at first blush, seems that sort of an active millennial versus a cancer survivor would be very different targets, both in turn, and it require very different product design as well as messaging. And it appears you're trying to do it all. And
I appreciate that question. Having been around a while, but also really just focusing the last couple of years, we've had the answer to that. And unfortunately, I've never met a human being that hasn't been touched by breast cancer. And so we actually find the millennial, if she can buy something that supports her breast cancer, that is the same person and that is the same product. We've met models in New York, and they said, what, you're an option for breast cancer? And they buy 5. So really, it isn't a different market. And we found our highest likes on social media at the time. Our Illinois rep, she was wearing our long sleeve and our leggings, and that was able to put her port in but give her support, and we had the highest likes, and that's from millennials as well. So women are active, and they are different ages, and they are millennial, are the young woman that leads our social media. We get to work with a lot of millennials, and what has them want to buy the product and be associated with the brand is the philanthropic piece to fight breast cancer. So they are separate, and as kind of just a side note to that is, I go to Outdoor Retailer, it's all these amazing active wear, it's like this small city of active people. We go to the survivor world, and it's really kind of depressing, little pink, little tablecloth with beanie babies. We have a vision that we are the active, cool brand also in that space, because we find that it's not separate, that the survivor piece is not different than the millennials, that the millennial wants to buy from us more.
Have you contemplated, have you approached the Susan B. Komen folks?
We do. Really, quite honestly, Carrie, who is our double mastectomy, late stage 3, 11-year survivor, she's so connected with the people. When she first got fitted, she had prosthetic legs hanging from the ceiling, and she couldn't find options online. So with a couple more dollars put in that, she will be a voice for people that go online and get answers. And unfortunately, sometimes a millennial is a breast cancer survivor. So really, that's a big piece for us. She was featured in a book. If you look on our website, first of all, we have a coupon, of course, BVC 15. And if you go on our website, of course, it's October, you will see Carrie's story with this picture, and her story changed my life. And she was in the SCAR project for young survivors. So that really, unfortunately, millennials and survivors aren't different, and they really like to support it. So the dollars going into the survivor piece just gets the word out more and has women be appreciative that they're giving back when they purchase a product they love for themselves.
Well, I would just add to that, speaking of the millennial market, so you know, the regular bra market is losing ground, while the sports bra market is overtaking it, and it's literally a 1-for-1 percentage match. And what they're finding is the millennials, 80% of them are using sports bras as their everyday bra, which we've been doing a handful for a long time. So when people say, I don't want to pay $50 for a sports bra, no, because you don't want to wear one bra for 1 hour, as Jennifer mentioned. So what we're finding is that the industry overall is changing because people want comfort and they want that. And it's actually just amazing that the same bra is an option for breast cancer survivors. It's not a different product.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about your ambassador strategy, both in terms of how you find them, how you can grow that, and what you sort of can expect in terms of being able to extract sales out of individual reps.
Yes, I mean, she can go from the ROAS finance piece, and I can go from sales. So really for us, the young woman that works with us now, she has personally over 100,000 followers, and that's just her life, or these ambassadors that they connect with. And so being able to definitely infuse more cash into that gives her more power to connect with these women that know how to share with their friends, who share with their friends, who share with their friends, that then get the word out. So it's really, honestly, we have done more probably with less than anyone from a really scrappy bootstrap standpoint. And so to be able, like I said, we got some investment Q4 of last year, and we're exceeding our goals with that amount. So to be able to take that and double, triple, quadruple is just doing more of the same that we've had the resources to do.
Yeah, and I mean, for 2018, for us, we're on what's called a fix the mix. So I think one of our slides showed we're 60% wholesale right now. Well, the investment dollars that we got last year, we heavily invested in the wholesale market, and the results were very positive. We were up over 80% in that way. We still continue to grow in direct to consumer, but we have not yet formulated and implemented a digital marketing strategy, and that is really going to be our huge focus for 2018, and we'll also swap those numbers. So our goal is to be 60% direct-to-consumer, 40% wholesale, and we think that's a healthy mix.
Questions from the audience? Oh, yes, up there, in the balcony.
Yes, great question. I feel like we could go on and on about fabrics.
Repeat the question.
Oh. I know. Quick version of just basically questions about the fabric. So we've talked about the brand. What any proprietary or information about the fabric, and once again, living in the backyard of just world class with the activewear, we work with world class education and experience with fabrics and moisture wicking and performance, but then also feel and fashion. And we originally started with nylon spandex, but then prints were so hot, it was very challenging to print on nylon, so we moved to poly spandex, and that's really been a beautiful mix at this point because you feel it. I mean, it just feels like butter. People constantly say, I put it on, I forget I'm wearing it. And but we do have some things in the pipeline talking around a little bit more performance element. And so we definitely have some different things we're wear testing. Our big thing, though, is a fabric definitely that can hold up. I'm sprinting down going to catch my flight. I'm sweating. Then I get on the flight and I'm freezing. No one needs to know if we're hot or cold. And I'm grateful I'm constantly wearing my performance fabric that also is fashionable, but also feels great.
We might be able to squeeze one more question in from the panel or from the audience.
I've one in the middle top balcony.
Great. The question is, how have you secured production to hit revenue targets? Great.
Yeah, so as Jennifer mentioned, we're in a tier 1 factory that I and one of our business partners, Tina, got to go visit this year, actually. It's in Cambodia. They have 3 factories in Asia, and it is an amazing production shop. We are so small by far of the other brands that they do. When we were there, it was just amazing watching Lucy Activewear, Lululemon, Nike, and then Handful. And for a small company to see that and to be on that scale was quite inspiring and incredible. They have capacity that we couldn't even outmatch for a couple of foreseeable years. And the fact that they have 3 factories, but there's also other factories. We have other factories that we have partnerships with that we do small runs of things because you never want to get stuck with one factory and have something go wrong. But it's not a concern of ours at all.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
My name is Randy Miller, and I'm the president and founder of ASI Wealth Management, located here in Bend, Oregon. We began the firm in 1998, myself and Roger Fisher, who was a Bend native, and with a pretty simple vision that we wanted to be an independent firm that put our clients first and that we provided a truly independent deliverable for business owners, entrepreneurs in general, and wealthy families around the Pacific Northwest. ASI is really excited to support the Bend Venture Conference this year, and we work with a lot of entrepreneurs and have since the founding of our firm in 1998, and myself being an entrepreneur, we thought it was a great fit, and we're very excited to be involved. And whether it's with an entrepreneur or somebody that's approaching retirement, having someone that's independent that can take a look at your situation and make sure you're doing the right things and preparing yourself for the future is very important. One of the things that we're super proud of is being nominated and winning Small Business of the Year, so that was very exciting. We also are starting a new initiative working primarily with business owners and partnering with John Bowen and Russ Allen Prince with their new book on becoming serious wealthy, and that will be released here shortly, and you'll be seeing it out there. to all the companies involved, certainly we wish you good luck, and follow your heart, continue to be passionate about what you do, and keep your head down and work hard.
Okay, next to present is InvestiPro, who is simplifying the way employers conduct workplace investigation. Presenting is their founder, Dana Barbado, and this is Dana's second time on the BVC stage, last year as an early stage finalist. So let's welcome her back and hear how the company is doing.
Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. A shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car.
You guys know the words. You could sing with this, right? So, what comes next in the song here? Have a good time. Are you guys having a good time? Thank you. I am so excited to be up here again. For those of you that don't know me, I am Dana Barbado. I'm the CEO and founder of InvestiPro, where we are simplifying the way employers conduct their workplace investigations. Now, harassment, discrimination, and bullying have been very prevalent in the workplace for literally decades. And employers used to just kind of sweep them under the rug because nobody wanted to deal with them. Well, they just can't do that anymore. Look at Uber. Look at Fox News. Look at Harvey Weingarten. That's the most recent one, and everyone's real familiar with it because it impacted so many people. But the fact of the matter is, it's not moving. Okay, there we go. The fact of the matter is that any employer in the United States with 15 or more employees, actually less than that in some states, must conduct a prompt and impartial investigation anytime they are made aware that harassment or discrimination are taking place within their workplace. And the numbers show that if they do conduct a prompt and impartial investigation, they can reduce their chances of entering into litigation by 53%. So why is it that these companies are just not doing these investigations? Well, there's a lot of reasons. There's time, there's fear, there's cost, there's lack of good resources. That was the case until InvestiPro. Our statistics and research show us that fewer than 10% of organizations have a standard consistent process that they use for conducting their investigations. And those that do are using a paper process, which is really difficult to prove as unbiased in court. The average workplace investigation takes between 80 and 160 hours. So if somebody walked into your office Monday morning and said, oh, there's something going on I think you need to know about, would you be able to set aside 2 to 4 weeks worth of work in order to conduct a workplace investigation? Kind of makes you realize maybe one of the reasons why they're not being done. You can outsource your investigations. It's going to cost you between $4,000 and $20,000 for each and every investigation. Now, our research shows us that in every company, they on average do one investigation per 50 employees per year. So if you've got 200 employees, that's four investigations a year for such a small company, 4 times that amount of money. So the employee complaints keep coming in. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission received 745,000 calls in 2016, resulting in almost $500 million in settlements for employees. But that number is not the whole extent of it. That doesn't include any state agencies or any claims that went into litigation in our court system. So that number is actually likely double that amount at the very least. There we go. Sorry about that. I thought I missed my little click again. So InvestiPro is still the only online option for conducting workplace investigations. It is designed to take the chaos and fear out of conducting the investigation by converting it into a standardized business process. It does so, as you can see here, using a very simple to use user interface platform that they can use to control the investigation all the way from complaint till the final determination. And in doing so and using the compliance measures that are built in, it allows any HR professional manager, or business owner to be able to conduct an investigation, even up to the greatest magnitude of trouble, such as your discrimination or your sexual harassment, and ensure that there's going to be a consistent and compliant outcome each and every time. Excuse me, so we would like to show you the top 5 reasons that our clients say they love using InvestiPro. The first one being, as we mentioned, the compliance measures are built right into the product. What we mean by that is certain things like when you put in your complaint, it automatically locks down, and that increases your defensibility of your investigation. They love the fact that it is a consistent process every time, because that's the biggest problem out there with these investigations. You need to be able to prove that your process is consistent and compliant each and every time. That's difficult to do when you have different people using them and using a paper process. Our consistencies are built in from the initial complaint all the way through the final determination. Our clients are telling us they reduce the amount of time per investigation by 30 to 40%, meaning their companies save a little more than a week's worth of wages every time they conduct an investigation using InvestiPro. No HR experience is required. Now, imagine being a high-level HR person and being able to delegate parts of the investigation to your lower-level HR staff or your managers, and knowing that it's not going to create more liability for your company. And last time we were here, we had our minimum viable product that had just come out about 6 weeks before BVC. We took in a little bit of money after BVC and were able to use that to create an annual pricing structure. And all of our annual plans come with unlimited investigations. And what that means is that our companies cannot just not have to worry about any budgetary surprises, but they can also know that they can use this product for all of their employee relations. Theft, policy violations, people that are misusing the time clock, it will work for all of those issues, as well as the sticky discrimination and harassment situations. As far as competition is concerned, on a software standpoint, we're looking at risk mitigation systems and reporting software. And what these do is they gather information from these large companies that have multiple locations, and they report back to them how many investigations they're doing, where they're doing them, what type of them that they're doing, and if they have any problem spots where they may need to do more training. That's all great. It's a great thing to have. But when it comes to actually conducting the investigation, their clients are on their own. So truly, the most impactful competitors that we have that actually help with the investigation process are attorneys, private investigators, and HR consultants. Attorneys are shying away from doing these due to court opinion, and I did bring this up in depth last year for those of you that were here, but court opinion is saying that if these attorneys take part in the investigation, there is a conflict of interest with them representing their client should it enter into litigation. So a lot of them are no longer doing them. Private investigators don't always know the ins and outs of employment law. And HR consultants can do it when you can find one that can start within the 3 days required before beginning your investigation, except they're not allowed in all states. So you have to make sure you know your state laws on that. So InvestiPro still remains the only automated platform out there for conducting your workplace investigations. So last year, as we said, when we came out, we had just released our minimum viable product. We have since converted over to a product where we are able to not only offer to small and mid-sized companies, but we are also now focusing a lot of our marketing attention on large to enterprise-sized companies, and we've got a 3-tier pricing based upon their number of employees. These are our 4 industry verticals that we're doing the most focus in, and a sampling of our current clients that we have in each vertical. According to IBIS, the total U.S. HR software market is $6.8 billion. They see a 6% increase projected over the next 4 years. And the reason for that is because HR is continuing to bring their HR services back in-house. So they're going back to insourcing rather than outsourcing. And the functions in these HR products are moving toward niche or single-use products, such as InvestiPro, that handle the softer side of HR, your personnel management, your progressive discipline and that type of thing, employee relations, including investigations. So of the $6.8 billion market, the average single-use or niche HR product is able to achieve a 3.25 market share or a $221 million total addressable market for InvestiPro. We have really made some traction this last year since we saw you last. I was able to bring on a co-founder who started in July. Since that time, she has increased the value of our pipeline by 600%. We began our process to obtain a woman-owned business certification, and we just hired our first employee, which is super exciting. Thank you. And so taking a look at things here, and we can get more in detail in this in the questions, but we have been in the middle of our HR convention season. We just finally got back from all of that last week. As you can see, our pipeline has grown significantly. People are coming in right at the demo stage now because they've heard of us, they know who we are, they want to see the product, and they want to get moving ahead. And the majority of the people that are in the bottom three phases are large. Oh, wow, okay. We'll just leave this up there in case you want to know of any of the companies that are in the pipeline. Just, you know.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Let's go straight to questions.
So thank you. Do you mind if I? Yeah. Thank you for the funnel slide. Love being able to see that with that detail. So with a product like yours, I imagine a lot of the value that a company is getting is in potential cost savings. And these are things that, you know, what I'm curious about is as they get through that funnel, are you finding that they're waiting until they have an actual issue to then finally sign up? And secondarily, do you get any pushback on being an annually billed or even monthly billed SaaS product versus just a, you know, as needed solution?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking. So as I mentioned, last year when we were in the early stage, we had as our minimum viable product just a single-use product. And we, as a company, did find that there were some challenges with trying to get the awareness out there and get it right in front of those right people right when they had the need. But the fact of the matter is the HR community is being really educated now that these claims are just coming and coming and coming and coming and becoming so prevalent. But on top of that, the EEOC, in their 4-year strategic plan, has basically put a focus on auditing these companies to make sure they have a consistent compliant system in place, even if they're not conducting investigations. So that has prompted them to be a little bit more proactive. And then in addition to make it more appealing to them, we've added things such as online harassment discrimination training, interaction with a HR investigator, and that type of thing to make it really a total solution for all of their employee relations and not just waiting for, say, a sexual harassment claim. Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you.
So it strikes me there are a couple of things that would be interesting to know here. One, it seemed the insurance companies who insure these people against the various things would have a really high vested interest in seeing your solution implemented. And we've seen that in other industries. I mean, you think about sort of DocuSign in real estate, right? Mm-hmm. It was really clear that for the real estate agencies, the DocuSign was going to help them. Have you approached the insurance companies to see if they would like to white label your product, give it away as part of their service, and for a free year or something, and try to get the people hooked that way?
We have not yet. We are certainly going there. I tried to convince the BVC to move the venture conference to the spring because it always seems to hit us a little early in our growth because we just released last fall. But we have just put together our partnership and licensing plans. One of the things that you were going to see. Oh, look what's next. We have just signed our first 2 channel partners. Our third one is coming on before the end of this month. So we just got that put together. And one of the people in the hiring that we're doing, we closed a round with Cascade Angels about a month ago, and we're using a good chunk of those funds to increase our sales staff. And one of the things they're going to be working on is selling it to insurance companies, also to employment attorneys, the ones that aren't doing them anymore, to keep that relationship with their clients, so they will sell it to them that they can pass on and still stay part of the partnership there.
Just along the same lines, again, to me, this strikes me as a heroin product. You know, is once you use it once, you've got them.
We like to think so.
You know, and with the opioid progress, that's probably not a good topic. But you know, it strikes me, if you could find a way to get trial, whether it's with a subset of the product, first year free, I don't know what, you'd hook them. So what are you thinking on the marketing side of that?
We're trying to figure that out a little bit. As far as the trial from the channel partnership and licensing side of it, that's not an issue. I mean, we can put that together. HR people are kind of a different bunch when it comes to, I mean, they're not necessarily the most trusting people that you've ever met. And so it's been very helpful that I am a 26-year HR professional, and so I've walked in their shoes. And so we're trying to get them to understand through becoming a thought leader. We're presenting ebooks and that type of stuff to educate them on the trust of this in order to be able to roll out something like that. Because the feedback that we've gotten, again, we're pretty early, so early on what we've gotten is we're not putting any of our information for something as critical as an investigation into anything free. We want a contract. We want to know that we're protected. And so we're working with them to find a way to ease into that. But that's a great comment. Thank you.
Margin. So what didn't quite compute for me was you talked about how much companies spend currently per each investigation. Then you shared how much you're billing annually and say that it's for unlimited investigations. And it seems like you also need to, out of pocket, retain or at least pay the private investigators, lawyers, et cetera, that you're bringing into the process. What does your margin look like? And is there an area where if a company is doing too many investigations, you turn negative? How does all that work?
We don't conduct the investigations. It's a great question. We don't conduct the investigations. The EEOC tends to show, as well as the state agencies like BOLI, B-O-L-I in Oregon, and they tend to give a lot more leniency in the investigation and the outcomes when you're defending a process that the company did in-house. They like to encourage that because it's less invasive that way. It's something that has more of a positive impact on the workforce as far as building trust and accountability. And in such, they do give them a little bit more leniency when they've done it themselves as opposed to hiring an attorney or someone to do it for them. So they are actually using this platform. It includes the methodology that's going to take them through their decision-making process and everything, but they are making the decisions, and they are the people conducting. So we are not conducting.
And are you recommending, though, to them some of the people that they should be working on with this, or is it still completely up to them to find that third-party attorney or investigator?
Well, like we said, we encourage them to do it with their staff in-house. So with senior management, executives and high-level HR people. But we have also built into the product, between the assessment and final determination phase, there is a built-in feature where they can either include their attorney in the decision-making process, which protects that relationship and lets the attorney still be able to defend them without it being a conflict. Or if they don't have that legal help, we have a bank of attorneys that will review the product for a highly discounted price. They just review the investigation and give them guidance based upon that. So we do help them, or we allow them a means by which they can bring in their own help. Okay?
Questions from the audience? I think we have time for a couple. Yeah, great.
Hi, Dana. Great job, first of all. And I'm just dying to see if there was anything else after that slide that you wanted to share.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Did you plant her there? Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know, 2020 has been our vision. We have been focusing on a 2020 vision of 10 million. We have a solid strategic plan and set of performance to get us there. However, we are now, the interest that we are seeing, we just went to the HR Technology Conference in Las Vegas. We had huge companies, Yahoo, Airbnb, all coming, Compass Group, coming and seeking us out for partnerships for the product, and we've decided that a 2020 vision just isn't big enough for us anymore. So we have moved on to 2022. We believe that we'll be at 24 million revenue by 2022. Thank you, Amanda.
Other audience questions? Yes.
Yeah, the spread between your 3 price tiers seem pretty narrow. So I don't know if that is that your bottom one's too high, your top one's too low, or there's just something very different about selling into HR that's a little different than other types of SaaS software. Can you comment?
What I can tell you is, first of all, that was a monthly example, but they pay annually up front for the year. And the reason that the 3 are so closely grouped together is there really is no additional cost for us as the company when they get the additional things that are included in the 3rd or highest, the platinum on the form. So you've got silver, gold, and platinum. So therefore, in keeping them close together, we're able to move all of our clients except for one are in the platinum. And we've been able to do that by keeping them, quite close together. The only one that didn't is one that doesn't need, they have their own learning management system and they don't need any training, so they went into the gold. But other than that, by keeping them fairly close together, we've been able to direct our clients to what is the most impactful thing for them, which is the platinum plan.
That's great. Thank you very much. I was hoping, Dana, that InvestiPro would help us all invest like pros, but it sounds like you have a much better business going on.
How about if we just keep you out of trouble so you can use that money and invest
that would
like
also
pros?
be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.